Look at all of our friends joining. Yay! It's a party.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
You can add things to chat, right?
Yes, people should be able to add to chat. I'll keep my eye on anybody who keeps trying to get in while we introduce.
Are you guys hearing my dog barking, or is that just me?
Yes, we can hear.
I'm so sorry. I have a brand new puppy who will not shut up, but the puppy may join us.
That's okay. We love puppies.
Puppies are joyous.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're here tonight to reveal, I feel like we need like our title.
Yay!
2022. All right, so Penny, you want to get us started?
Do I want to get you started? For sure. We have a new middle school book club. So we have elementary, middle school, high school, and a teacher book that's really K-12. We are like going out on a limb here and believing that middle school needed its own little book club. And we have had so much fun choosing books. Don't you guys feel that way? Like every book we read, we were like, yeah, that one. But Claire did all the groundwork for us to figure out how we could afford them, how we can ship them, get everything set up so that we're ready to start book club. So Julia, you are going to start with our professional development book for all teachers.
I didn't do the drum roll, but this is it. Textured Teaching by Lorena Escoto Herman. And what can I say? I mean, the cover really says it all. It says a framework for culturally sustaining practices forward by Django Paris. If you are not familiar with Django Paris, he and Sami Alim wrote Culturally Sustaining Pedagogies. So this is an amazing continuation of the conversation about best practices for culturally sustaining thinking and holistic teaching within the language arts classroom. So I think it's great for all levels, but Claire wanted to say a little bit about how it might be appreciated or used best by elementary teachers.
Yeah, so it does in the back, so that's why I want to say it. It says middle school and high school, but I think elementary folks, when you read it, it's all about us, right? She has this like huge spread in the middle about, how we integrate everything, and they need to hear that, but it's what we do, right? So I just think there's such beautiful work. I just love this equation: love and community plus justice plus truth and knowledge equals teaching as social justice work. Right? There's just going to be so much for us to talk about. And I think this vertical, like K-12 conversation is going to be beautiful. So we're so excited.
Oh, I so agree. I love how she talks about inspiring a drive for positive social transformation in students. It is student-centered. Let's turn our teaching into student-centered practices. And the reason I like even the title, Textured Teaching, is she lays out all of these frameworks that all intersect. So I think it's inspiring. I was leafing through it for the second time today after deeply reading it the first time. There is so much to talk about. Very cool.
Yeah, I love the visuals. Just some really powerful visuals. They're going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, now my dog's going off. I'm going to mute myself.
All right, I'm letting someone else in the waiting room. Here we go. All right, should we do elementary? Should we go vertically?
Yes.
All right. So in addition to the professional books, each group will have 3 additional titles that we're going to be studying. All right, so the first title for elementary, I'm so excited. Dad Bakes. I don't know if folks have read this one by Katie Yamasaki. Absolutely beautiful book. If you don't know Katie's work, she is a muralist. So we are going to have so much to think about and analyze and love about all of her illustrations and the layers of meaning that they add. This is a book about relationships. It's specifically about a dad and a daughter, but it's really about all relationships. There's such a fullness of how we think about people in this book, which is what I love about it. I think she explores, right, the depth of who we are as people. It has both universals and specifics. The author's note is so dense. We're going to have so much to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Her second book, also an artist. This is a debut book, 15 years old when he wrote this book. We Can, Portraits of Power by Tyler Gordon. Cannot believe he was 15 years old. If you're not following him on Instagram, start now. Unbelievable.
Look at his art.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
His use of color, how he chose the folks he chose, how he laid them out. So much brilliance to this book. And I always love elementary books that when you take off the flap, there's something else happening, which happens here, which kids love. So this one, I'm so excited. And Tyler's definitely.
I'm so excited because so many elementary classrooms write short little biographies of people.
Yeah.
These are a whole collection of mentor texts.
Right.
I love this book. I've been book talking it in middle and high school classrooms because I love it so much. I think he is, you can find so much about him too. He's
So much.
just adorable.
Yeah, I follow him. He's awesome. And then we will be doing a book in verse, Res Dogs by Joseph Bruchac. So just as a poet and an author, there's so much for us to explore from this poet and author. So I'm imagining us digging into a lot, but specifically we're going to be reading this book, which came out last year. It's in verse, and it is about a young girl who winds up being with her grandparents on a Wabanaki reservation when the pandemic hits. So it's her story of staying with her grandparents while her parents are in Boston. And so there's so many universals I think that kids connect with, the kids I've done with, but it's also given them a glimpse into getting to know a character similar to their age who experienced this while living either in a place where they live, for kids who are reading this and connect with this author, with this character, or for kids for whom this is someone to know, and it's a window or a sliding glass door. So excited about this one.
It's beautiful. I read it so fast, and then the second time through, it was even better. And in middle school, another Indigenous author, and Claire was there. She says she saw me fall in love with this book.
Her whole face.
I was in the classroom of Kelsey Stoyanova, who's main teacher of the year and is a book club winner. And she had this book, and a kid was looking at it. And I said, "Oh, is that a book I should look at?" Because I saw the title in several places in the classroom. And oh my goodness, it's just this beautiful graphic representation of what is a serious concern in the Indigenous community. And they have all these backup stats in the back, so you could introduce the idea of the missing girls. And the other beautiful piece of this, kids, it has a part 2, which is over there on my desk somewhere, because I am now reading part 2. You know how kids are. Is there another one? Is there another one? This one, gorgeous art, really interesting, take on how people are dealing with grief and loss. And these kids, these were 8th graders. How many of them said they'd read it? Like half the class that stood up and said, "Oh yeah, Surviving the City."
Things to read, but this was one that they were so excited. Yeah. And Penny's face did transform when she saw it.
And we're so excited to have the author on. She was excited that we chose it. So this is a big plus for middle school. We also are going to be reading Becoming Muhammad Ali, which was co-written by Kwame Alexander and James Patterson. Can you stand it? I had little feeders out to James Patterson's people asking, can he come on and talk to us? Because I don't know if you know, but Kwame is in the midst all summer of filming the Netflix adaptation of The Crossover. So he wrote me back that things are really intense and he can't join us this year like he did last year. So I'm working on James Patterson. What do you think?
I did not know that he was filming that. That's so awesome.
He is in all the things, as you would say. He is so involved. But at any rate, what did you think of Becoming Muhammad Ali?
I appreciate understanding some information about exactly what it says, Becoming Muhammad Ali, because we knew that his name was Cassius Clay, but we didn't really know enough about all of the different factors that led to him becoming not only an athlete, but like a global change maker. And that's really what we want young people to be, right? Is to cultivate the skills and take all of the experiences and people that they know as they grow up and see how that transforms them into people who can change the planet that we live on for better. So
I love that. And I love did I mention I always wanted to be a writer? Maybe you guessed since you're reading this, but there's such a playfulness to this other side that I would never have known. So I love this book.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
And the last book Claire's going to talk about.
I love that we have 3 groups this year, because it just made finding books for middle school, which I think really joyful, because it's the first time we did this. So Red, White, and Whole by Rajna Roca, which we did choose
Out here.
before she became a Newbery
Come on.
medalist. But this book is a Newbery honor. So Rajani's from Boston. For those of you who don't know her, she has written 9 books since 2019. She is a doctor at Mass General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. So she keeps both happening. And I had the privilege of using this book with 3 classrooms last year where she streamed in and for the first time got to read this book with kids at an advanced copy. And she's so powerful with kids. This is not a memoir, but she does talk about the main character, Reha, and how they have a lot in similar. There's going to be so much for us to dig in with mythology and music. Just beautiful. I know, and I'm so happy, Penny, when you read it because you loved it too. Just
Oh my gosh. I was like, it was ridiculous.
It's beautiful.
I love it so much. You know, you've
oh.
read the namesake, remember? And it was they're born in India, or the parents come here to America, have a child who is raised in America. That's this young girl's story. Only I think that's what the book is until that turning point in the book when her mom gets sick and you're like, wait, this is a very different story. This is powerful and so well developed, beautiful writing. Love this book.
In her talk, she brings so much of who she is into this book. It's beautiful. So excited.
And she's going to talk with us. She already said yes. Yes. So Julia, tell us about our first high school book.
Well, I'm not sure which to really talk about first, but I will definitely tell you that this one surprised me. This one really surprised me. And when I book talk it to students, I actually like to say that it would be a nice pairing with Long Way Down, believe it or not, because I will say that you do need to read this one a couple times, not just to grasp it, but to really appreciate the nuance to the writing. Because the story, when you get to the end, you will find out that there were things throughout that you would be looking for on your second read. I guess that's a way to say it without ruining it.
Oh, for sure.
But it's a mystery. It's a love story. It's a story about the known world and the unknown. It's a story about, the title. Did we ever decide whether it was Moth Me or Me Moth or just Moth?
It's Me, and then Moth is in parentheses.
Okay.
That's how it's published.
Me
Yeah,
Moth.
Me Moth.
Okay. All right. Yeah. One of the things I like about this the most is there's a part where it talks about how moths rule the night and butterflies rule the day. And I have a whole sleeve tattoo, and many of them are butterflies. So it drew my attention immediately for that reason. And then just as you're reading, that whole metaphor of butterflies ruling the day and moths ruling the night just starts to show up in the most surprising ways. And it's just absolutely gorgeous.
I had to order it on Audible, and now I'm listening to it. Have you listened to it?
No, I have not.
I have not listened yet.
Ooh, it is amazing. And this will be my 3rd time through on Audible. And I have 2 other friends. We're doing a book club because you really want to unpack this with people.
Yeah.
It's so deep. And do you see what's in the top corner there? One of our swag things is our little book club bookmark. The only piece of swag I've received yet. So that's the only one I have to share tonight. But there's other stuff.
That's all. Yeah, I think with Moth, it's never been a book that I've both needed to read immediately again, but didn't want to immediately read it again. Like I had this like moment where I just needed to be in space with it, but I knew I needed to read it again. It's so beautiful.
It is.
That's very true.
The audio.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I had to settle after I read it, and then I wanted to read it again.
Yeah, I agree. You got to kind of let it marinate, because the first time I read it, I was like voraciously, I do remember reading it in like one stint, just one span, because it was so good. I couldn't put it down. I had to know what happened. So the story does grab you and make you just want to keep reading. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. So people will love it.
All right. So Julia, are you going to talk about Brendan?
Yes. Okay. This is the other talk. And this one came to me as a complete surprise. Brendan sent an email saying that he had this book that he would like me to read. And he sent me the manuscript electronically. And I was like, woo, because once you get to I think it's chapter 7, then it's just like, whoa, that was a lot. However, and, but in addition to, that was amazing because it makes you reckon with your place in this society and sit and think about what white privilege has done to all of us and how it operates in the world. In addition to Brendan being really vulnerable and open about experiences like going to a conference and having there be very few options with how to get to the airport. And all I really remember from the book is him saying this. I knew right away that the authors of color who were also at the conference might have had a much more difficult time getting an Uber than I did. That's just one example of the many things that he shares that are so personal in this book. I will always respect him and appreciate him for being willing to go there and share the parts of him that did stupid, racist, embarrassing things, but also the way that he is trying and is in the process of healing. So I'll say that.
I like too that he wrote it for high school kids.
Yeah.
And I think of all of the kids that I've taught who've said, I really wanted to understand this better after reading a Dear Martin or reading one of the many books that we share. But I think that this one is directly aimed at them and what he plans to teach his own son. And the huge bonus, do you see who wrote the foreword down here in this little print?
Yes.
Introduced by Jason Reynolds, who's coming on for the first time to our book club. Jason Reynolds.
Yep, he's going to join Brendan in conversation about this.
Yes, because the two of them had a conversation, I think about a year ago, and I was so interested in the way they processed it together. They're very good friends. And so when I wrote to Jason, feeling very nervous, like, please come on our book club. I'm just so excited. They're going to be in conversation with Julia about what is here and how do we think about that together. So very, very exciting. And somebody asked Claire for a list of titles because they got on late. I don't know if we want to show a stack or something later in the chat. But the last book is This Is My America for the high school. And we talked to Kim last year when this book had come out and I'd read it and begged her to come on and talk to us. This time we're having the whole book club read it together. This is like a companion to Just Mercy. And Brian Stevenson's work, which is so powerful about criminal justice, this puts you in the mind of a female protagonist whose father has been sent to prison. She knows it's a problem or a mistake. She's determined to figure it out. I love strong female characters in these books, but the journey that she goes on to try to clear her father's name, I think this is just such a readable book, such a great book club book that I'm just excited that we're going to have it as part of a study instead of just a sidelight that we did in an interview. So
if anyone has read From the Front Desk of Zoe Washington, that one is a really good high school like next step for folks to read after that one, because I really appreciate the family ties that are at the heart of both of those stories. Yeah,
absolutely.
And
so I just wanted briefly to say,
like, the plot just grabs you so quick, like that book doesn't stop. Like it's so much.
Sure.
It's just so beautifully crafted too. It's a great book.
The pacing
it is. And these are middle school, in case you came in late. Wait, I'm going backwards. Is that something I can fix, Claire? Because yours are going forward. I'm reversed.
They're not reversed to me.
Oh,
They're not reversed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Surviving the City, Red, White, and
Ask
Gold.
me to explain that.
Becoming Muhammad Ali. Our whole
Hold on.
group read is Textured Teaching.
And hold on. This is our elementary stack. I guess the big news for someone who joined late is we have 3 groups now. We're going to have elementary, middle school, and high school, just to make your life difficult.
I'm excited about each of them for different reasons, but I can tell you that, you know, the kids I think are really going to love when we start bringing these books into our classrooms for book clubs and for, you know, just great experiences. And also I highly recommend showing the videos of the conversations if you can, with the students, because they are going to really gravitate toward seeing some of these people who are alive today talk about their work. So
I agree completely. I think that one of the things Yukari's been doing is working on uploading book club interviews from the past few years. And so we also have all of those as well. But this year, with all of these amazing people who are going to come on and work with us, I just know it's going to be a terrific summer.
It is.
it is. It is. It's going to be great. And I can't wait to see how people respond to the conversations that they're going to have about these books, but also to hearing about all of the experiences people have with the young folks who enjoy these books.
Absolutely. Yukari, what do you want to tell us about the website or the Mighty Network?
Okay, I'm muted. Yeah, so what I wanted to do was just kind of show you the website. It's already up if you want to go ahead and go over there, but I'll go ahead and share screen too. And it'll show you all the titles that we just talked about and the schedule when that's going to be happening. And then I'm going to jump onto our new platform, which is Mighty Networks instead of Facebook, where we're going to be doing some discussions and stuff. So let me go ahead and share screen and I could talk through them. Okay. Can everybody see this?
Oh, that looks awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so this is our new, this is a new site, or not new site, but it's on our website for this year's book club. The registration will open on April 22nd, so keep an eye out for that. And all that stuff, all the registration will happen right on our website. And then if you scroll down, this picture will be updated with our new swag for this year. That's just from last year. That's all we have right now, photos of. Here are the books that we talked about, the high school selection, and you can see the dates below that. That's when we're going to be doing the discussions. And then your middle school selections and the elementary. Once we have all the speakers like we had last year, as they get scheduled, that will show up on here with their faces, and then there'll be a link for the full schedule of that. And then below this, there will be a place where you can pick different packages you want to purchase for the book club. So this year, because we have a middle school, we'll have 3 different packages for each grade level with the books and the swag. And then we will also have a one combination package, which is all 10 books and the swag. So that's for somebody who wants to have all the books from elementary through K through 12. And then, as in the past, we'll also have just an online only version, where you can buy your own books and then just join in on the discussions and the interviews. Okay, and then if you go over to the summer book club now, since you are all here, that means you're already on Mighty Network, so that's a good thing, I guess. Otherwise, you won't be able to see this Zoom session right now. So once you're on the summer book, I'm sorry, the book love foundation community on Mighty Networks, this is where we're going to be doing all our discussions, all the interviews, everything's going to take place here. We're making a migration away from Facebook, and for various reasons. And so this is really going to be our central place where all the communication, the discussions, the interviews, all of that stuff is going to happen. So I'm going to go back up here. So this is kind of what you're all used to seeing, the main page. And down in the restricted space, right now you can't get access to it yet, but there will be a space called Summer Book Club 2022. And when you join a club and you go through the purchase process, you will get 2 emails. And it's really key that you pay attention to those, because one of the email will be basically a receipt, confirmation of an order. But the second one is going to give you a lot more information about how to get to the space on Mighty Networks, and how to get access to all of that information. So that's really key that you look for that email and make sure that you can get here. So once you're here, you're going to the Summer Book Club page or the group area. And right now there's just a quick little intro on how to get around this space. But if you go over to the topic section, again, you'll see the same list of books all listed here. And this is where all the different discussions are going to happen. So you click on each one of these at that time that the discussion is happening, and you can see all of the discussion postings and stuff. And then if you want to see any of the live events that you might have missed because you couldn't make it during that time, you can go into this space and it'll all be listed here. So I think that's basically it. I'm not sure if I missed anything else. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me go ahead and get out of the share screen. How do I get out of it? Stop. There it goes. Okay. Anyway, so a lot of stuff happening, a lot of new stuff, some changes and stuff, but hopefully that this is a better space for everybody. And we have a great lineup of books and discussions coming up. So we're looking forward to everybody joining.
So almost a month from today, registration opens.
Yay!
Bring your friends to Mighty Networks. If you know folks who are on Facebook, we would love to create an environment as free of distraction as we possibly can. So please bring them over to Mighty Networks.
Right.
And I would say also encourage them to apply for a book club grant because the application deadline is coming up April 1st. And we have a lot of money to give away. We did really well on our fall appeal. So we've got money. We want to give it to teachers, both the Terry Lassane book clubs grant and the regular classroom library grant. We want to give teachers what they need.
Right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to have you all on the call. You should all do your video so you can say bye, because it's always good to see faces.
Yeah, it's awesome to see all the excitement in the chat too. Thank you for joining
you guys
us.
make the night.
Oh, it's so good to see you, everybody.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.